Hello, my beautiful family. I've noticed recently that many of you haven't been watching my videos, and honestly, it's not so encouraging. This channel only exists because of your support. Without you, there's no channel. So please, let's keep the family growing together. Spread the love by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. And don't forget to drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I really want to see how far this family is growing across the world. Her parents sold her for being barren, until a lonely billionaire with 5 children chose her. The letter trembled in Zara Washington's hands as she sat on the worn steps of her childhood home in South Atlanta. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the cracked concrete, but she barely noticed the growing darkness. Her eyes remained fixed on the handwritten words that threatened to shatter what little remained of her world. We hereby dissolve all familial ties and responsibilities. The formal language couldn't mask the cruel truth. Her parents were disowning her. At 32, after 3 failed fertility treatments, and a marriage that crumbled under the weight of expectations, Zara was being cast aside like damaged goods. The faint sound of children's laughter drifted from the neighbor's yard, each innocent giggle another reminder of what her body had failed to provide. Zara pressed a hand against her empty womb, the gesture both protective and apologetic. The doctors had called it premature ovarian failure, a condition that had sealed not just her reproductive fate, but apparently her worth as a daughter. Her mother's words from their last argument still rang in her ears. "What good is a daughter who can't even give us grandchildren? We invested everything in you, Zara. Everything. And now you can't even fulfill your basic duty as a woman?" The crack of a car door closing startled her from her thoughts. Across the street, Mrs. Jenkins, who'd watched Zara grow up, was helping her grandchildren out of their minivan. The elderly woman caught sight of Zara and offered a sympathetic smile. News traveled fast in their close-knit community. Zara quickly folded the letter and slipped it into her purse, unwilling to let anyone witness her shame. As she stood, smoothing her navy pencil skirt, her phone buzzed with a notification. A reminder for tomorrow's meeting at Washington and Pierce investment firm, where she worked as a senior financial analyst. Marcus Pierce requests your presence, 9 a.m. sharp. The message brought an unexpected flutter to her stomach. Marcus Pierce was more than just the firm's enigmatic CEO. He was Atlanta's most eligible widowed father, raising 5 children on his own after losing his wife to cancer 3 years ago. The tabloids loved to speculate about the handsome billionaire's love life. But in the 6 months since Zara had joined the firm, she'd only seen him from afar, his powerful presence commanding every room he entered. Why would he want to meet with her, and why now, when her world was falling apart? Have you ever faced rejection from those meant to love you unconditionally? Share your story of resilience in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join our community of survivors and thrive. Standing up, Zara squared her shoulders and took one last look at the house behind her. The peeling paint and sagging shutters seemed to mirror her own feelings of decay and abandonment. But something inside her, the same fire that had earned her an MBA with honors and fought through every setback, refused to be extinguished. Tomorrow's meeting with Marcus Pierce might just be about quarterly reports or investment strategy. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the universe opening a door when her family had slammed one shut. What Zara didn't know, as she walked away from her childhood home for what she thought was the last time, was that Marcus Pierce had been watching her career with intense interest for months, and he had plans that would change both their lives forever. The sleek elevator of Pierce Tower hummed as it carried Zara toward the executive floor. Her reflection in the polished doors showed a woman fighting to maintain composure, shoulders back, chin high, dark curls perfectly arranged around her face, but her honey brown eyes held shadows that no amount of concealer could hide. "You look like Mama before she got sick." The small voice made Zara jump. She hadn't noticed the young girl who'd slipped into the elevator, her bronze skin glowing against a yellow school uniform, hair arranged in neat box braids adorned with butterfly clips. "I'm Aria Pierce," the girl announced, studying Zara with unnervingly mature eyes. "You're Miss Washington from finance. Daddy has your reports on his desk all the time." Zara's heart skipped. This was Marcus Pierce's youngest daughter, the one who'd been only 4 when her mother passed. Now 7, she had her father's analytical gaze, and from the photos Zara had seen, her late mother's gentle smile. "It's nice to meet you, Arya," Zara replied softly. "Are you heading to your father's office?" "Mm-hmm. My teacher had an emergency. So Maya, she's our nanny, brought me here." Arya fidgeted with her backpack strap. "But Maya's sick too. She's been throwing up all morning." The elevator doors opened to controlled chaos. A tall teenage boy, who could only be Marcus's eldest son, James, was arguing with a harried-looking woman who had to be Maya. 3 other children of varying ages clustered nearby, twin girls around 10, who were attempting to comfort a crying boy who appeared to be 8 or 9. "I can't leave them, Mr. James," Maya was saying, though her face had a concerning greenish tinge. "Your father has that important meeting, which is exactly why we need to handle this quietly," James insisted, running a hand through his short, dark curls, a gesture Zara had seen his father make during board meetings. Something deep in Zara's chest tightened. Before she could stop herself, she stepped forward. "I could help." All eyes turned to her. James's expression shifted from surprise to recognition. "You're Zara Washington." "Yes, I have a meeting with your father, but..." She glanced at her watch. "I have some time, and I used to run a youth program at my church." The words came easily, even as part of her screamed about the impropriety of offering to watch her CEO's children. Relief flooded Maya's face. "Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Pierce trusts you. I've heard him mention your work, and I really need to." She pressed a hand to her mouth and rushed toward the bathroom. James assessed Zara with his father's shrewd gaze. "Dad's in back-to-back meetings until your 9 o'clock. I'm James. These are the twins, Olivia and Sophie." The girls waved, their matching braided buns bobbing. "That's Marcus Jr., we call him MJ, and you've met Arya." "She looks like Mama," Arya announced to her siblings, causing a ripple of something unidentifiable to pass through the older children's faces. Zara's throat tightened. "I'd be happy to help until your father's free. Maybe we could set up in the conference room. You could all do homework while I review my presentation." The next 45 minutes revealed more about Marcus Pierce's family than any gossip column ever had. James, at 16, carried the weight of eldest sibling with grave responsibility, helping 12-year-old twins Olivia and Sophie with their science project while keeping an eye on everyone else. MJ, 9, struggled with his reading but lit up when Zara suggested they take turns reading paragraphs aloud, and Arya simply sat close to Zara, occasionally reaching out to touch her arm or sleeve, as if assuring herself Zara was real. They were brilliant children, but there was a fragility to them, a quiet hunger for maternal attention that made Zara's heart ache. She found herself sharing stories about her own childhood, teaching the twins a hand-clapping game she'd learned in elementary school, and showing MJ the memory tricks that had helped her master difficult texts in college. "Your hair is pretty," Sophie declared during a braid. "Maya's good with braids, but she never gets them as neat as yours. Could you teach us sometime?" "Yeah, and maybe you could come to my dance recital next week," Olivia added. "Daddy tries, but he doesn't know how to do stage makeup." "Children," the deep voice from the doorway froze everyone in place. Marcus Pierce filled the conference room entrance, his broad shoulders emphasized by an impeccably tailored charcoal suit. At 42, he was a study in controlled power, dark skin gleaming under the fluorescent lights, closely cropped beard framing a mouth that rarely smiled. But his eyes, as they moved from his children to Zara, held something unexpectedly soft. "Dad," Arya launched herself at her father, who caught her with practiced ease. "Miss Washington helped us because Maya got sick. She's really nice, and she smells like vanilla, and she helped MJ with his reading." "What qualities do you think make someone a natural caregiver?" Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to join our community for more heartwarming stories of unexpected connections. Marcus's gaze lingered on Zara as she rose, straightening her blazer. "Miss Washington, I believe we have a meeting scheduled." "Yes." She gathered her materials, hyper-aware of his presence. "James, get everyone to school. Tell Maya to take the day off. I'll have Mrs. Chen come over after her shift at the community center." His tone was gentle but firm. As the children packed up, each one found a way to touch Zara, a hug from Arya, a fist bump from MJ, shy waves from the twins, and a respectful nod from James. Their departure left the conference room echoing with absence. "My office," Marcus said quietly. "We have much to discuss." Following him down the hallway, Zara felt the weight of possibility pressing against her ribs. She'd come here expecting a business meeting, but the universe had orchestrated something else entirely. The question was, what did Marcus Pierce see when he looked at her? A valued employee, a convenient solution to his childcare problems, or something more? His next words would change everything, but for the first time since receiving that devastating letter, Zara felt something dangerous bloom in her chest. Marcus Pierce's office commanded the corner of Pierce Tower, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of Atlanta's skyline. But as Zara settled into one of the leather chairs facing his desk, his attention wasn't on the view. It was fixed solely on her. "I apologize for the chaos earlier," he began, his deep voice resonating in the spacious office. "Though I must admit, it provided an unexpected demonstration of exactly what I hoped to discuss with you." Zara's fingers tightened around her portfolio. "Sir? Please call me Marcus." He leaned forward, clasping his hands on the desk. "Miss Washington, Zara, I've been following your career closely since you joined us 6 months ago. Your financial acumen is exceptional. Your project management skills exemplary. But what interests me most is something that doesn't show up on your resume." Her heart thundered against her ribs. "I'm not sure I understand. My children," a shadow crossed his face. "Since losing their mother, I've tried everything to give them stability. Unis, counselors, private schools with the best reputations. But in 45 minutes, you connected with them in a way I haven't seen since." He trailed off, pain flickering across his features. "They're wonderful children," Zara said softly. "You've done an amazing job with them. I've survived." His laugh held no humor. "But they need more than survival, which brings me to my proposal." He stood, walking to the window. The morning sun cast his strong profile in sharp relief, highlighting the silver threading through his temple. "I want to create a new position, Family Operations Director. The role would combine financial management of my personal holdings with oversight of my children's daily lives, educational planning, activity coordination, household management. The salary would be triple your current compensation, with full benefits and private living quarters in my home." Zara's mind spun. "You're offering me a job as what? A glorified nanny?" Marcus turned, his expression intense. "I'm offering you a partnership. My children need someone who can understand both their emotional and practical needs, someone educated enough to guide their academic futures, sophisticated enough to navigate our social circles, and nurturing enough to provide the maternal influence they're missing." His voice softened. "Someone like you." The weight of his words pressed against her chest. "Why me? Surely there are more qualified." "Because I've watched you, Zara. The way you mentor junior analysts, how you handled the Thompson crisis last month with both intelligence and compassion. And now, seeing you with my children." He moved closer, his presence making the vast office feel suddenly intimate. "I know about your situation." Ice shot through her veins. "My situation, your parents' decision, the fertility issues, the divorce." Each word fell like a hammer blow. "I have extensive background checks done on all executive track employees. Your story resonated with me." Humiliation burned behind her eyes. "So this is pity? This is recognition?" Marcus's voice grew fierce. "Society told you your worth was tied to your ability to bear children. Your ex-husband betrayed you, your parents." His jaw clenched. "Their actions are unforgivable, but their loss could be my family's gain." Have you ever had a moment when what seemed like an ending turned into an unexpected beginning? Share your story of transformation in the comments below. Zara stood, needing to move, to think. "What you're suggesting, it's not just a job, is it? You want me to become part of your children's lives. That's an enormous responsibility. One I believe you're uniquely qualified for." He stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his subtle cologne. "My children are my world, Zara. I wouldn't trust them to anyone I hadn't thoroughly vetted, anyone I didn't truly believe in." "And what happens when you remarry?" The question escaped before she could stop. "When your new wife wants to make her own decisions about the children's lives?" Something flickered in Marcus's dark eyes. "Marriage isn't in my plans. My focus is on my children's happiness and my business's success. In you, I see someone who could help me achieve both." A knock at the door interrupted them. Marcus's assistant poked her head in. "Sir, the Beijing conference call is in 5 minutes. "Thank you, Claire." He turned back to Zara. "I know this is overwhelming. Take the weekend to think about it. But know this, I'm not offering charity or a convenient solution. I'm offering you a chance to build something meaningful, to be valued for exactly who you are." Zara gathered her belongings, mind reeling. At the door, she paused. "The children, do they know about this proposal?" "But they've made their feelings about you quite clear." His smile, rare and genuine, transformed his entire face. "Arya texted me 3 times during my morning meetings, asking if you could come to her ballet class tomorrow." The elevator ride down was a blur. In her car, Zara finally let out the breath she'd been holding since entering Marcus's office. Her phone buzzed, a text from her younger sister, the only family member still speaking to her. "Mom and Dad are talking about selling the house, moving to Florida. They're telling everyone you abandoned them, not the other way around." "I'm so sorry, Zai." Hot tears spilled down her cheeks. Her parents weren't just disowning her, they were erasing her, rewriting history to protect their reputation in the community. And here was Marcus Pierce, offering her a chance to build a new history, a new family, on her own terms. But could she do it? Could she open her heart to 5 children who'd already lost one mother? Could she work closely with a man whose mere presence made her pulse race, knowing he saw her only as a solution to his family's needs? As she pulled out of the parking garage, a flash of yellow caught her eye. Arya stood at the window of her father's SUV, waving enthusiastically as James drove them to school. The other children joined in, their faces bright with genuine joy at seeing her. Something deep in Zara's soul, something she thought had died along with her dreams of motherhood, began to stir. Maybe, just maybe, this was the universe offering her not just a job but a chance at healing. A chance to prove that family wasn't just about blood or biology, but about choice, about love. The question was, did she have the courage to take it? The Pierce mansion's wrought iron gates swung open silently, admitting Zara's car into a world that still felt surreal after 3 weeks in her new role. The Georgian-style home sprawled elegantly across manicured grounds, its brick facade warm in the late afternoon sun. Her home now, too, at least in theory. As she parked beside Marcus's sleek black SUV, her phone lit up with a text from James. "SOS. Twins won't speak to each other. MJ locked himself in the library. Dad's stuck in traffic. Please help him." Zara grabbed her briefcase and a bag of art supplies she'd picked up for Arya's school project. 3 weeks, and already the children looked to her in crisis. The weight of their trust was both heartwarming and terrifying. Inside, chaos reigned. Olivia sat at the kitchen island, furiously attacking her homework, while Sophie's muffled sobs echoed from the family room. The source of their conflict became clear as Zara spotted the crumpled invitation on the counter. Mitchell Anderson's 13th birthday party. "He only invited Olivia," James explained quietly, appearing at her elbow. Sophie's devastated. They've never been excluded from something separately before. Zara's heart ached. The twins' individual identities were emerging, bringing growing pains none of them had anticipated. "Where's MJ? "A library. He got his book report back." The teacher's comments. James handed her a paper marked with red ink. "Needs significant improvement. Consider testing for learning disabilities." Zara read, anger rising. She'd been working with MJ, had seen his brilliant mind trapped behind processing difficulties. "Did you tell your father? He's been in crisis meetings all day. That merger in Singapore. I'll handle this." Zara squeezed his shoulder. "You've done great, James. Help Arya with her snack. I bought those strawberries she loves." She dealt with the twins first, gathering them in the sunroom where their mother had once tended prized orchids. The plants still thrived, tended now by a weekly gardener. "Girls," she began, sitting between them on the white wicker sofa, "want to tell me what's really going on?" Mitchell's mom said the party was limited to 20 kids. Olivia burst out. "And he chose me because I'm in his advanced math study group. It's not my fault. He thinks I'm stupid," Sophie choked out. "Everyone thinks Olivia's the smart one, the pretty one." "Stop right there." Zara's voice was firm but gentle. "Sophie Washington Pierce, you are brilliant in your own unique way. Who won the regional art competition last month? Who organized the fundraiser for the animal shelter? And Olivia, remember how proud you were when Sophie's painting was chosen for the school auction? How it sold for more than any other piece? The girls exchanged glances, years of sisterly connection transcending momentary hurt. What if, Zara suggested, we planned something special for that weekend? Sophie, you and I could take that pottery class you've been talking about. Make it a special day just for us. Hope loomed on Sophie's tear-stained face. Really, and Olivia can enjoy her party knowing her sister is having an amazing time too. The twins' reconciliation hug loosened something in Zara's chest. One crisis down. Now for MJ. She found him curled in the library's window seat, his father's old copy of the Phantom Toll Booth clutched to his chest. The same book they'd been practicing with. The one he'd finally started to enjoy.
If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more amazing love stories. Alright, back to the story.
Hey, champion. She settled beside him. Rough day? I'm not stupid, he whispered. The words, they just dance around sometimes. And the teacher makes me read out loud, and everyone laughs. You're right, you're not stupid. Zara pulled out her phone, opening a downloaded article. See this? It's about Albert Einstein. Did you know he didn't read until he was 7? His brain just processed things differently. Like yours. MJ uncurled slightly. Really? Really? And guess what? I made an appointment with a specialist who can help us figure out exactly how your brilliant mind works best. No more struggling alone. Does Dad know? He's always so busy now. He knows. Marcus's voice from the doorway startled them both. He stood there in his suit, tie loosened, looking exhausted but intent. I spoke with the specialist myself this afternoon, son. We'll get you all the support you need. MJ launched himself into his father's arms. Marcus held him tight, meeting Zara's eyes over their son's head. The gratitude in his gaze made her pulse skip. What challenges have you overcome that made you stronger? Share your journey of persistence in the comments below. Later that evening, after homework was done and younger children were in bed, Zara found Marcus in his study. He'd shed his suit jacket, his white shirt sleeves rolled up as he reviewed documents. The twins are reconciled, she reported, and MJ's feeling better. The specialist can see him next Tuesday. You're remarkable. He set down his papers. 3 weeks, and you've transformed this house. The children are thriving. Even James is smiling more. They make it easy to care about them. Zara perched on the edge of his desk, a liberty she'd never have taken 3 weeks ago. But Marcus, we need to talk about your schedule. His shoulders tense. The Singapore merger is important, I know. But your children need more than 15-minute check-ins between calls. MJ thinks you're too busy to care about his struggles. The twins are hitting puberty and identity crises. Arya asked me yesterday if you still love them as much as you did before I came. Pain flashed across his face. I'm trying to secure their future. They need their father in their present. Zara's voice softened. You hired me to help, not to replace you. Marcus stood abruptly, pacing to the window. When Claire died, work was my sanctuary, the one place where I didn't feel helpless. And now, he turned, his expression raw. Now you're here, doing everything right, connecting with them in ways I never could, and I feel helpless all over again. The vulnerability in his voice drew Zara to her feet. That's not true. You're an amazing father, but you've been trying to be both parents, plus CEO, plus everything else. Let me help you, not replace you. He moved closer, close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. How do you do that? See right through every defense? Maybe because I know what it's like to wear armor. Their faces were inches apart now. To be afraid of letting anyone see the cracks. The air between them crackled with unspoken possibility. For a moment, Zara thought he might close the distance. Instead, Marcus stepped back, professional mask sliding back into place. It's late. You should rest. Tomorrow's the children's school gala. Right. Zara gathered herself, pushing down the disappointment. Good night, Marcus. At her door, she paused. For what it's worth, they're lucky to have you as their father, and I'm lucky to be part of their lives. His response followed her down the hallway. We're the lucky ones, Zara. More than you know. In her suite, Zara pressed her forehead against the cool window, watching Atlanta's lights twinkle below. She'd taken this job to heal her own wounds, to prove her worth beyond her infertility. She hadn't expected to fall in love, not with 5 amazing children, and certainly not with their complicated, passionate father. But here she was, fighting feelings that could destroy everything she'd built, because Marcus Pierce might need her, might even want her on some level. But he'd made it clear that romance wasn't part of the equation. Tomorrow's school gala would put them on public display for the first time. The widowed billionaire, his children, and the woman who'd stepped into their lives. Rumors were already circulating. Questions would be asked. Were any of them ready for the answer? The Atlanta Symphony Hall glittered with crystal chandeliers and old money as Pierce Academy held its annual fall gala. Zara stood at the edge of the ballroom, a vision in deep burgundy silk, watching Marcus dance with Aria. His daughter's yellow party dress twirled as he spun her, their matching smiles illuminating the dance floor. "They're calling you the miracle worker, you know." The voice belonged to Regina Matthews, a board member's wife and self-appointed social gatekeeper. "The way you've stepped in, almost like you're trying to replace poor Claire." Zara's grip tightened on her champagne flute. No one could replace Claire Pierce. Regina's perfectly lined lips curved. "That's not what I heard. Apparently, you've moved into the family wing, not the staff quarter. And Marcus canceled 3 dates I tried to arrange. Quite interesting." Before Zara could respond, Olivia appeared at her elbow. "Miss Washington, could you help me with my hair? The bobby pins are coming loose." Grateful for the escape, Zara followed Olivia to the ladies' room. As she secured the young girl's elegant updo, she caught sight of their reflection, her dark hands moving expertly through Olivia's curls, their faces wearing matching expressions of concentration. "Everyone's talking about you," Olivia said quietly. "About us. This girl in my class said..." She hesitated. "What did she say, sweetheart?" "She said you're just trying to marry Dad for his money, that you probably can't have your own kids, so you're stealing someone else's." The bobby pin slipped, pricking Zara's finger. A drop of blood welled up, bright against her skin. "Do you want to marry Dad?" Olivia turned, her young face serious. "Because Sophie and I were thinking, it wouldn't be awful if you did. You make him smile more, and you don't try to make us forget Mom, like those other ladies did." Zara's heart thundered. "Olivia." The bathroom door burst open. James stood there, face ashen. "Dad needs you. Now. It's about the adoption papers." "What adoption papers?" Zara and Olivia asked simultaneously. But James was already pulling Zara toward Marcus's private office in the Symphony Hall's executive wing. Inside, Marcus stood rigid before the floor-to-ceiling windows, a tablet computer gripped in his hands. "Close the door," he ordered without turning around. James complied, then stationed himself protectively near Zara. The tension in the room was suffocating. "Would someone please explain what's going on?" Zara demanded. Marcus finally turned. His face was a mask of controlled fury. "I just received some interesting documents. Apparently, someone has been preparing adoption paperwork for my children, with your name on them." The floor seemed to tilt beneath Zara's feet. "What? I never..." "The files were found on the family lawyer's server, along with extensive research into my late wife's estate, the children's trust funds, and my company's succession plans." He advanced slowly. "Tell me, Zara, was this your plan all along? Gain our trust, integrate yourself into our lives, then legally bind yourself to my children and their inheritance?" "Marcus, you can't possibly believe..." "What should I believe?" His voice cracked like a whip. "That someone else is trying to steal my children? That these documents with your electronic signature just materialized?" "Dad," James interrupted. "Let her explain." "There's nothing to explain." Zara's voice shook with anger and hurt. "I would never betray you or the children like that. Someone is setting me up. Regina Matthews warned me." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Said I was blind not to see your true intentions. A barren woman, rejected by her own family, suddenly taking such interest in a widower's children." The slap echoed in the office before Zara realized she'd moved. Marcus's head snapped sideways, a red mark blooming on his cheek. "How dare you?" Her words came out in a whisper. "I loved those children before I ever met them. Through every story you told in board meetings, every photo on your desk, Every time they ran into your office needing their father. I loved them because they were worthy of love, not because of their trust funds. Have you ever been wrongly accused? How did you stand up for your truth? Share your story in the comments. Miss Washington is telling the truth. A new voice joined them. Claire Pierce, Marcus's assistant, stood in the doorway, her tablet extended. I found something you need to see. Security footage played on the screen. Regina Matthews, entering the law office after hours using what appeared to be a stolen keycard. The timestamp matched the creation of the adoption documents. She's been trying to manipulate her way into your life for years, Claire explained. When you hired Zara instead of considering her niece for the position, she started plotting. I've been tracking her movements since I noticed inconsistencies in the visitor logs. Marcus sank into his chair, the fury draining from his face. Zara, I don't. She held up a hand. You just proved that despite everything we've built these past months, despite all your talk about recognizing my worth, you still see me as damaged goods. Someone desperate enough to steal another woman's children. That's not. I quit. The words felt like glass in her throat. I'll have my things out of the house by morning. No. James stepped between them. Dad, fix this, please. We can't lose her too. But Zara was already moving toward the door, her heart shattering with every step. Behind her she heard Marcus rise, heard him call her name. She didn't stop. In the ballroom, the children's faces lit up as they spotted her. Arya waved frantically. The twins beckoned her toward their table, and MJ held up the book they'd been reading together. Zara forced herself to smile and wave, then slipped out a side door before they could see her tears. The night air hit her like a physical blow as she emerged onto the Symphony Hall's terrace. Below, Atlanta's skyline sparkled, oblivious to her pain. Her phone buzzed. A text from her sister. Mom and Dad are back from Florida. They're asking about you. Say they made a mistake. Zara laughed through her tears. Everyone who had ever rejected her was suddenly wanting to make amends. But it was too late. She'd built something beautiful with the Pierce family, something real and precious. And now, like everything else in her life, it was slipping through her fingers. Unless she stayed and fought. Not for Marcus, who had proved his lack of faith in her, but for 5 children who had already lost one mother, who had finally begun to heal, to trust, to love again. The rain pelted against the windows of Zara's temporary apartment in downtown Atlanta, matching her mood as she packed 3 weeks of memories into cardboard boxes. Each item told a story. Arya's butterfly drawing labeled My New Family, MJ's first successfully completed book report, the twins' matching friendship bracelets they'd made for her. A knock at the door startled her. James stood in the hallway, soaked from the rain, his face a mix of determination and desperation. You can't leave, he said without preamble. Everything's falling apart. Zara ushered him inside, wrapping a throw blanket around his shoulders. James, it's midnight. Does your father know you're here? He's been locked in his study since you left. The twins won't stop crying. MJ's refusing to read again, and Arya, his voice cracked. She thinks it's her fault, that she talked too much about wanting you to be her new mom. The words pierced Zara's heart. None of this is Arya's fault, or yours. Then come back. James squared his shoulders, looking so much like Marcus it hurt. Regina Matthews confessed everything. She wanted Dad to marry her niece. Thought if she discredited you. It's not about Regina. Zara sank onto her couch. Your father believed the worst of me, James. Without hesitation, he assumed I was trying to steal you all away. Because he's scared. James burst out. Mom's death destroyed him. When he started feeling something again, it terrified him. So he looked for reasons to push you away before you could leave like she did. Wisdom beyond his years shone in the teenager's eyes, making Zara wonder how much he'd been carrying silently all this time. The night Mom died, James continued softly, Dad made me promise to help protect the others, but who protects him? Who helps him remember it's okay to live again, to love again? Can love survive betrayal? How do we learn to trust again after being hurt? Share your thoughts below. Zara's phone lit up with text from the twins. Sophie, please come home. We need you. Olivia, Dad's sorry. He's really sorry. He keeps staring at your empty chair at dinner. Then a message from MJ. My words are dancing again. Only you know how to make them stay still. And finally a voice message from Aria that broke her completely. Miss Washington, Daddy's crying in Mom's garden. He thinks I can't hear him. Can you make him happy again, please? They need you, James said quietly. We all do. A new message flashed across her screen. From Marcus. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but please, let me try to earn it. Before she could respond, her sister called. Zaraz, you need to come to the house right now, her sister said, without greeting. Mom and Dad are with Marcus Pierre. What? He showed up an hour ago. I've never seen Daddy so quiet. They're talking about you, about everything. Mom's crying. You need to be here. Zara looked at James, who managed a small smile. Dad said he had to fix something before he could ask you to come home. Guess this is it. The drive to her parents' house was a blur of rain and streetlights. When she pulled up, Marcus's car was indeed in the driveway, its sleek black form a stark contrast to the modest surroundings. Inside, she found a tableau that stopped her breath. Marcus Pierce, still in his gala suit, sitting across from her parents in their worn living room. Her mother's eyes were red-rimmed, her father's face lined with shame. Zara, her mother stood, trembling. Baby, we're so sorry. Your young man here, her father gestured to Marcus, made us see what we threw away. Our own child, our beautiful daughter. Marcus rose, turning to face her. The mask of corporate power was gone, leaving only raw honesty in his eyes. I had to understand, he said softly, how anyone could look at you, at your strength, your grace, your capacity for love, and see anything less than extraordinary. And in understanding their mistake, I faced my own. He moved closer, every step weighted with purpose. I didn't just fail you tonight, he continued. I failed us, failed the family we were becoming. Because you're right, you loved our children before you knew them. You saw their hearts, not their inheritance. You healed their wounds, while I hid from my own. Marcus, let me finish. His voice roughened. When Claire died, I thought I had to choose between being a father and being a man who could love again. Then you walked into our lives, and suddenly I didn't have to choose. You made everything whole, and that terrified me. Rain drummed against the windows, filling the silence as Zara absorbed his words. I'm not asking you to forgive me tonight, Marcus said. I'm asking for a chance to prove that I trust you, completely and without reservation, to show you that what we built isn't just real, it's everything. Her mother stepped forward, taking Zara's hands. We were wrong, baby, about everything, but that man there, he loves you. Those children love you. Don't let our mistakes cost you the family you deserve. The adoption papers, Zara managed through her tight throat. Regina didn't create them out of nowhere. She found them in the system because I had them drawn up, Marcus admitted, not to trap you or test you, but because the children asked. They wanted to make it official, to make you legally what you already are in their hearts. Their mother. I was waiting for the right moment, trying to find the courage to ask if you wanted that permanence with us. James, who had followed her from the apartment, spoke from the doorway. We all want it. Want you. Please come home, Zara. She looked around the room, at her repentant parents, at James's hopeful face, at Marcus's vulnerable eyes. Through the window, she could see 5 figures hurrying through the rain. The twins, MJ and Aria, followed by Claire, who had obviously driven them. They burst in, wet and worried and so achingly precious to her heart. Did you fix it? Aria demanded, launching herself at Zara. Did Daddy say sorry, right? Zara caught her, holding her close as the other children crowded around. She met Marcus's gaze over their heads. That depends, she said softly. Is this real? All of it? Because I can't do halfway, Marcus. Not with them. Not with you. His answer would determine everything. Rain still fell over Atlanta, but inside the Pierce Mansion's conservatory, warmth and light created a haven from the storm. Zara sat surrounded by scattered moving boxes, not packed for leaving this time, but for relocating to a new suite in the family wing, one Marcus had specifically renovated for her. Is this one going in your office? Olivia held up a framed photo from the night. Everything changed, all of them huddled in her parents' living room, wet from the rain but glowing with renewed hope. Actually, Zara smiled. I thought it could go in the family room, if that's okay with everyone. The past month had been an exercise in careful rebuilding. Trust, like fine china, required delicate handling once broken. But piece by piece, they were creating something stronger than before. Marcus appeared in the doorway, his usual power suit replaced by casual weekend wear. "Children," Chen just called. "The car is ready to take you to your grandparents." The announcement sparked a flurry of activity. This would be the first official dinner with Zara's parents since the reconciliation. The twins had spent hours choosing their outfits, while MJ had practiced reading a story he wanted to share with his new grandmother. "Remember your manners," Marcus reminded them as they filed out. "And James." "I know, Dad. No debating politics with Grandfather Washington this time." James grinned, shepherding his siblings toward the waiting car. Silence settled over the conservatory as their voices faded. Marcus moved to help Zara with the boxes, but instead found himself simply watching her. She'd changed his world twice now, first by entering it, then by choosing to stay despite his moment of devastating doubt. "You're staring," she observed, not looking up from her task. "I'm appreciating." He settled beside her on the floor, propriety forgotten. "Do you know what today is? Thursday? It's exactly 4 months since you first stepped into that elevator and met Arya." His hand found hers, fingers intertwining. 4 months since she said you look like her mother. Zara still. They rarely spoke of Claire directly, though her presence lived on in family photos and cherished memories. "I was so angry when she said that," Marcus continued softly. "Not at Arya, but at myself for noticing the same thing. Not in your appearance, but in your essence. That same quiet strength, that capacity for joy even in hard moments." "Marcus, let me finish." His grip tightened gently. "I've been trying to find the right words, the right moment, but I'm learning that sometimes you have to make the moment right." From his pocket, he withdrew a small velvet box. Not a jewelry box, Zara realized as he opened it, but a key nestled on black velvet. "This isn't just a key to the house," he explained. "It's a key to the family vault at Pierce Tower. Inside is a letter Claire wrote before she died, meant for whoever might someday help raise our children. I never showed it to any of the women I dated because none of them felt right. But you deserve to know how much she would have approved of you." Tears blurred Zara's vision as she took the key. "You don't have to." "I do, because I'm not just asking you to stay as our family operations director." Marcus shifted to face her fully. "I'm asking you to marry me, to legally adopt the children. Yes, but more than that, to be my partner in everything. To let me love you the way I should have from the beginning, without fear or reservation. What does it mean to create a blended family? Share your experiences of bringing different lives together." Through the conservatory glass, they could see the children still saying goodbye to Miss Chen by the car. Arya was demonstrating her latest ballet move. The twins were taking selfies. MJ clutched his book, and James watched over them all with his quiet smile. "They're not part of the bargain," Marcus said softly. "They're already yours, as much as they're mine. This is about us, you and me, about whether you can forgive me enough to let me spend the rest of my life showing you what you mean to me." Zara looked down at the key, then at the man beside her, this powerful, complicated man who had learned to kneel on the floor in his expensive clothes, who had swallowed his pride to make peace with her parents, who looked at her now with such vulnerable hope. "I have conditions," she said finally. "Anything. First, we maintain separate rooms until the wedding. The children need to see us do this right." Marcus nodded, a smile tugging at his lips. "Second, we get premarital counseling. Not because I don't trust our love, but because we need to learn better ways to handle our fears. Already researched the best family therapist in Atlanta. Third," Zara took a deep breath, "I want us to start a foundation for families struggling with infertility, adoption, and blending families. Something that honors both our journey and Claire's memory." Marcus's eyes softened. "I love you," he said simply. "Yes, to all of it. Yes to anything that makes you happy. You make me happy," Zara whispered. "You and those 5 amazing children. Even when you're driving me crazy with your overprotective hovering or your workaholic tendencies. Is that a yes to marrying me?" In answer, Zara leaned forward and kissed him. Their first real kiss. Tasting of promise, and morning coffee and possibilities. When they parted, both were smiling. "The children helped me pick out a ring," Marcus admitted. "It's waiting at your parents' house." They insisted on being part of the proposal. Of course they did. Zara laughed. Nothing in this family is simple, is it? Would you want it any other way? The answer was written in her heart, in the key she clutched, in the photos waiting to be hung, in the sound of rain on glass and love being built one careful piece at a time. No, she said. This is exactly the complicated, beautiful life I want. Rain still fell over Atlanta, but inside the Pierce Mansion's conservatory, warmth and light created a haven from the storm. Zara sat surrounded by scattered moving boxes, not packed for leaving this time, but for relocating to a new suite in the family wing, one Marcus had specifically renovated for her. Is this one going in your office? Olivia held up a framed photo from the night. Everything changed. All of them huddled in her parents' living room, wet from the rain but glowing with renewed hope. Actually, Zara smiled. I thought it could go in the family room, if that's okay with everyone. The past month had been an exercise in careful rebuilding. Trust, like fine china, required delicate handling once broken. But, piece by piece, they were creating something stronger than before. Marcus appeared in the doorway, his usual power suit replaced by casual weekend wear. Children, Miss Chin just called. The car is ready to take you to your grandparents. The announcement sparked a flurry of activity. This would be the first official dinner with Zara's parents since the reconciliation. The twins had spent hours choosing their outfits, while MJ had practiced reading a story he wanted to share with his new grandmother. Remember your manners, Marcus reminded them as they filed out. And James, I know, Dad. No debating politics with Grandfather Washington this time. James grinned, shepherding his siblings toward the waiting car. Silence settled over the conservatory as their voices faded. Marcus moved to help Zara with the boxes, but instead found himself simply watching her. She'd changed his world twice now, first by entering it, then by choosing to stay despite his moment of devastating doubt. You're staring, she observed, not looking up from her task. I'm appreciating. He settled beside her on the floor, propriety forgotten. Do you know what today is? Thursday? It's exactly 4 months since you first stepped into that elevator and met Arya. His hand found hers, fingers intertwining. 4 months since she said you look like her mother. Zara still. They rarely spoke of Claire directly, though her presence lived on in family photos and cherished memories. I was so angry when she said that, Marcus continued softly. Not at Arya, but at myself for noticing the same thing. Not in your appearance, but in your that same quiet strength, that capacity for joy, even in hard moments. Marcus, let me finish. His grip tightened gently. I've been trying to find the right words, the right moment, but I'm learning that sometimes you have to make the moment right. From his pocket, he withdrew a small velvet box. Not a jewelry box, Zara realized as he opened it, but a key nestled on black velvet. This isn't just a key to the house, he explained. It's a key to the family vault at Pierce Tower. Inside is a letter Claire wrote before she died, meant for whoever might someday help raise our children. I never showed it to any of the women I dated, because none of them felt right. But you deserve to know how much she would have approved of you. Tears blurred Zara's vision as she took the key. You don't have to. I do, because I'm not just asking you to stay as our family operations director. Marcus shifted to face her fully. I'm asking you to marry me, to legally adopt the children. Yes, but more than that, to be my partner in everything. To let me love you the way I should have from the beginning, without fear or reservation. What does it mean to create a blended family? Share your experiences of bringing different lives together. Through the conservatory glass, they could see the children still saying goodbye to Miss Chen by the car. Arya was demonstrating her latest ballet move. The twins were taking selfies. MJ clutched his book, and James watched over them all with his quiet smile. They're not part of the bargain, Marcus said softly. They're already yours, as much as they're mine. This is about us, you and me, about whether you can forgive me enough to let me spend the rest of my life showing you what you mean to me. Zara looked down at the key, then at the man beside her. This powerful, complicated man who had learned to kneel on the floor in his expensive clothes, who had swallowed his pride to make peace with her parents, who looked at her now with such vulnerable hope. Hi, I have conditions, she said finally. Anything. First, we maintain separate rooms until the wedding. The children need to see us do this right. Marcus nodded. a smile tugging at his lips. Second, we get premarital counseling not because I don't trust our love, but because we need to learn better ways to handle our fears. Already researched the best family therapist in Atlanta. Third, Zara took a deep breath. I want us to start a foundation for families struggling with infertility, adoption, and blending families. Something that honors both our journey and Claire's memory. Marcus's eyes softened. I love you, he said simply. Yes to all of it. Yes to anything that makes you happy. You make me happy, Zara whispered. You and those 5 amazing children. Even when you're driving me crazy with your overprotective hovering or your workaholic tendencies. Is that a yes to marrying me? In answer, Zara leaned forward and kissed him. Their first real kiss. Tasting of promise and morning coffee and possibilities. When they parted, both were smiling. The children helped me pick out a ring, Marcus admitted. It's waiting at your parents' house. They insisted on being part of the proposal. Of course they did. Zara laughed. Nothing in this family is simple, is it? Would you want it any other way? The answer was written in her heart, in the key she clutched, in the photos waiting to be hung, in the sound of rain on glass and love being built one careful piece at a time. No, she said. This is exactly the complicated, beautiful life I want. 5 years later, the Pierce Tower elevator hummed its familiar tune as it ascended to the executive floor. Zara adjusted her blazer, now bearing the embroidered title CEO, Pierce Washington Foundation, while balancing a stack of files and a tablet. Need help with those, Mom? She turned to find James, now 22 and fresh from law school, dressed sharply in his first associate's suit. His father's ambitious drive and her diplomatic touch had merged in him, creating a promising young attorney dedicated to family law. Just like old times, she smiled, remembering that first elevator ride. Though now we have quite a few more Pierces to keep track of. As if on cue, her phone buzzed with updates. Twins, 17. Debate team finals today's MJ, 14. Reading his original story at the Youth Writer Conference. Aria, 12. Leading her ballet company's junior showcase. Tommy and Tyler, 8. Science fair project won first place. Latest edition, baby Claire, 18 months. Probably destroying Marcus's office as they spoke. The foundation's headquarters occupied 3 floors of Pierce Tower. Its mission expanded far beyond its original scope. What started as support for blended families had grown into a comprehensive family services organization, helping thousands create their own versions of happily ever after. The elevator doors opened to controlled chaos. Exactly how Zara liked it. The annual Pierce Family Day meant all hands on deck, with their children leading various workshops for other blended families. Marcus stood in the center of it all. Baby Claire perched on his hip as he directed volunteers. Their youngest had her biological mother's red hair, but Zara's honey brown eyes, a gift from the surrogate who had helped them complete their family circle. There's my beautiful wife, Marcus called out, still making her heart skip after all these years. Ready for your keynote? Born ready? Zara kissed them both, accepting Claire's sticky embrace. How are our other troublemakers doing? The twins have the teenagers group totally engaged. They're sharing their college application essays about growing up in a blended family. MJ's creative writing workshop is packed. Aria's teaching little ones to express their feelings through dance. And the boys, he chuckled, they've turned their science fair project into an interactive demonstration about how families are like chemical bonds, always forming new connections. James took baby Claire cooing to his youngest sister, and I'm leading the legal rights seminar after Mom's speech. Full circle, right? Using my law degree to help other families like ours navigate the system. Zara surveyed the bustling space, remembering the frightened woman she'd been, standing in this same spot 6 years ago. Now the walls displayed success stories, photos of faos they'd helped, letters of gratitude, artwork from children who'd found their forever homes. Her parents worked a welcome desk. Their dedication to the foundation, their greatest act of redemption. They'd become advocates for acceptance, sharing their journey from judgment to understanding. Mrs. Pierce Washington? A young woman approached, eyes bright with hope. I just wanted to thank you. Your story, it gave me courage to love again, to believe I could be a mother even if I couldn't carry a child. Before Zara could respond, a small voice piped up. Are you going to be a bonus mom like my mommy? Arya had appeared, still in her dance clothes, wise beyond her 12 years. Bonus mom? The woman asked. That's what we call it in our family, Arya explained, because we got extra love, not replacement love. Mom taught us that hearts don't divide, they multiply. Marcus slipped his arm around Zara's waist as they watched their daughter share their family's philosophy. Remember when she first called you Mom? Remember when you first called me the miracle worker? Zara teased back. You still are. He kissed her temple. Every single day, the intercom chimed, announcing the keynote would begin in 5 minutes. Their children materialized from various corners, a practiced choreography of family support. Knock 'em dead, Mom. Tell the elevator story. Don't forget about the rainy night. And the garden proposal. Zara hugged them each in turn, these pieces of her heart, walking around outside her body. As she took the stage, she saw them all settle into their usual spots. Marcus in the center, baby Claire in his lap, surrounded by their beautiful, complicated, perfect family. 6 years ago, she began. I stepped into an elevator and met a little girl who changed my life. She said I looked like her mother, but what she really saw was the possibility of love. Today, I want to talk about possibilities, about choosing love daily, about building families that defy definition but define everything that matters. In the front row, Arya beamed. She'd been right that first day. Zara did look like their mother. Not Claire Pierce on the outside, but in the ways that counted, in love, in dedication, in the daily choice to build something beautiful from life's unexpected turns. The Pierce Washington family had rewritten their story, and now they helped others write their own. Because sometimes the best families aren't the ones we're born into, but the ones we choose to build, one heart at a time.